Lads, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. I'm Ingood Nick, and in today's video, I'll be looking back at every Sheffield United player and where they were 5 years ago. Now I'll let you in on 4 secrets about this list. One of these players was sold by a Premier League team to a League 2 team. One of these players was playing his football for an Italian giant in Serie A. One of these players was at the current Premier League champions Manchester City. And only 3 of these players were currently playing for the Mighty Blades at the time. So if you know the answers to all 4 of these questions, comment down below now. And if you get all 4 correct, you're the truest of Blades. So first up, Dean Henderson, Manchester United youth team. Dean was only 17 and was in the process of being promoted from the youth team to the first team, but would be sent out on loan to Stockport County in the National League the season after, as most generally do when they're coming through the ranks at big clubs. However, if Man United knew how good he was going to be, maybe they'd have started his loan spells at a slightly higher level. Simon Moore, Cardiff City. In 2015, Simon Moore was 24. Some may say young for a goalkeeper, and having moved from Brentford to Cardiff in 2013, Simon had to resort to life on the bench, being kept out of the team by fans' favourite David Marshall. He did manage to make 6 first-team appearances for Cardiff City, but that wasn't enough for him, and he decided to drop down a division and join Chris Wilder's Blades the season after. Michael Verrips, Young FC 20. In 2015, Michael Verrips was 18 years old and was on the books at FC 20 but never actually played for either the youth side or the first team. And that's all I really know about a 2015 Michael Verrips. George Baldock, MK Dons / Oxford United. In 2015, George was 21 and on loan at Oxford United. Even though George was seen to be not good enough for League One side MK Dons, he helped Oxford to a 2nd place finish and returned to Milton Keynes for the start of the 2016-17 season. But in 15-16, George linked up with future Blades teammates Jake Wright and John Lundstrom. Who would have thought that this League 2 duo of George and Lunny would be lighting up the Premier League in 5 years' time? Enda Stevens, Portsmouth. Now Enda was 24 years old in 2015, a late bloomer some may say, as he didn't quite make it at Aston Villa, and Villa ended up selling him to League 2 Portsmouth after a few loan spells at Notts County, Northampton Town and Doncaster Rovers. So in 2015-2016, Enda was a key member of the Pompey side that finished in the playoffs but just missed out on promotion. That season, Enda also played with current Blade Kieran Freeman and ex-Blades Ben Davies, Michael Doyle and Mark McNulty. John Fleck, Coventry City. Flecky was 23 in 2015 and in the 15-16 season turned out to be his last in a sky blue shirt, as he left for Bramall Lane the summer of 16. However, John spent 4 years at Coventry, scoring only 8 goals in 162 appearances. Coventry relied on Fleck. However, it seems like he needed a new challenge, and moving to the Blades has seen him improve season on season. Flecky didn't play with any future Blades or ex-Blades at Coventry, however he did line up with now Leicester and England starlet James Maddison. But they only finished the season in 8th, and both moved on the following season to bigger and better things. Jack O'Connell, Brentford. After 4 loan spells at different clubs, Jack finally left Blackburn Rovers to join Brentford. However, he was sent out on loan to Rochdale and made 12 appearances before being recalled by Brentford and made a further 16 appearances for the Bees. At 20 years old, Jack wasn't particularly praised by the Brentford faithful, and when he left to join up with Chris Wilder's Blades, his former fans commented on Blades forums, and the overall consensus was he just wasn't good enough. Now we're currently in 2020, and he's had an excellent start to life in the Premier League, and it's been reported that Spurs have been interested in him, and he's also been touted for an England call-up in the near future. Oh, how times have changed. Chris Basham, Sheffield United. Yes, that's right, Chris Basham, 26 at the time, is one of the only players in the current squad that was a Blade in 2015. He joined in 2014 from Blackpool, and he's been through some bad times with the club. But after being converted from a central midfielder to an overlapping centre-back, it's quite clear that Chris Basham is playing the best football of his career. John Egan, Gillingham. John Egan was playing League One football in 2015-2016, finishing in 9th place. 2 places above Nigel Adkins' Red and Shite Wizards. Anyway, there wasn't really anything memorable about that season at the Priestfield except that Egan played with Bradley Dack. Not much of a claim to fame, I suppose, but what was interesting about John Egan's career is that he made 1 appearance for the Blades in 2012 on loan from Sunderland. And I only found this out about a year ago. Shout out to Paul Cormack for that one. Phil Jagielka, Everton. Now on to the oldest member of the squad, as Phil was 32 5 years ago. But unlike most of these lads, he was in the prime of his life. Now Jags was at Everton for 12 years, but in 2015-2016 he captained the side to an 11th place finish. Not the greatest of finishes for a team such as Everton. However, they massively underachieved, looking at some of the players that they had. Jack Robinson, Queen's Park Rangers on loan at Huddersfield. Next up, one of the new lads. Jack hasn't spent too much time in the first team up to now, but he's a young lad with time ahead of him, and 5 years ago he was only 19. He was let go by his boyhood club of Liverpool in 2014, but in 2015 he was taken on by QPR and sent on loan to Huddersfield Town, making 31 appearances for the Terriers between 2014 and 15. He also played alongside ex-Blades such as John Stead, David Edgar, Conor Cody and the brief Blade Harry Bunn. Panos Retsos, Olympiakos Youth and Greece Under-17s. Panos is also very young and was actually 16 years of age 5 years ago, playing for Panathinaikos' youth team and Greece Under-17s. Bless. He also played alongside ex-Blades such as... Of course there's no Blades playing in the Greece Under-17s team. Kieran Freeman, Sheffield United. Now this is an odd one because earlier on in the video I said Freeman was at Portsmouth with Enda Stevens, however he did start the season of 2015-16 as a Blade, but then went to Pompey on loan a few months later in 2016, as he struggled to hold down a first team spot at Bramall Lane. I've always rated Freeman, but when he isn't starting he seems to lose his focus, and that's probably one of the reasons why we loaned him out to Pompey. However, he was only 22 at the time, so I think I'll cut him a little bit of slack. Keane Bryan, Manchester City. Man City converted Keane from an energetic central midfielder to a centre-back, and he went on to captain the youth team. However, in 2015, Keane was 18 years old, had been promoted to the Manchester City first team, and you could say he had the world at his feet. However, he never made a first team appearance before being shipped out on loan to Borough and Oldham before signing for the Blades. Even though Man City only managed 4th in the Premier League in that season, Keane was behind the likes of Vincent Kompany, Nicola Otamendi and Martin Di Michaelis. Jack Rodwell, Sunderland. In 2015, Jack Rodwell was 23 and warming the bench for Sunderland after making a 10 million switch from Manchester City the season before. He only managed to make the starting 11 9 times out of 38, however he was plagued by injury. Sunderland managed to stay up by the skin of Sam Allardyce's teeth, but the season after they weren't so lucky. And after that, well, I won't bore you with the details, but he turned into public enemy number 1 and left Sunderland as a disgraced man. Ben Osborne, Nottingham Forest. Believe it or not, Ben was at Nottingham Forest in 2015, as they're the only professional club that he's played for. He was 20 years old and a firm favourite at the City Ground after smashing a late winner against rivals Derby County the season before. He played 36 games for Forest in the 15-16 season, and he was a first team regular for the 5 season before moving to the Blades too. John Lundstrom, Everton, Leyton Orient, Scunthorpe and then Oxford. In 2015, Lunny was 20 years old and after receiving a 6-month contract extension from Everton, left his boyhood club to search for first team football. He went on loan to Blackpool, Leyton Orient and Scunthorpe United before signing permanently for Oxford United. In the 2015-16 season, he won promotion with Oxford from League 2, finishing in 2nd place and was one of the first names on the team sheet that season. Luke Freeman, Bristol City. In the 15-16 season, Luke established himself as a championship footballer after winning promotion the season before with Bristol City. He was the bright spark in a below average team and never failed to impress. Ollie Norwood, Reading. In the 2015-16 season, a 23-year-old Ollie Norwood was instrumental in Reading's midfield. However, they only managed to finish one place above Luke Freeman's Bristol City in 17th place. But what he didn't know was that soon he would be winning promotion from the Championship to the Premier League 3 seasons in a row, with Brighton, Fulham and then the Blades. What an achievement. Sander Berge, Vålerenga. A 17-year-old Sander Berge had moved from Norwegian side Asker to fellow Norwegians Vålerenga. Again, he was only 17, but appeared 36 times for them in 2 seasons before leaving Norway in 2017 to join Belgium outfit Genk. Mo Besic, Everton. A 22-year-old Mo Besic was plagued with injuries in the 15-16 season for Everton. However, he still managed to pick up 12 appearances and the Everton Player of the Month for January. Since then, he's not had a look in at Everton after being sent out on loan for the past 3 seasons. Ravel Morrison, West Ham, Lazio. Ravel. Known as Manchester United's most wasted talent back in the day, and was taken on a 4-year contract by Lazio after West Ham terminated his contract in 2015. Maybe they should have taken that on as a hint, as he only played 4 games in 4 years for the Italian Giants. He became unsettled almost immediately and tried to force a move back to England pretty sharpish. Leon Clark, Bury. Now from Italian Giants Lazio to an English lower league team that, well, aren't even a team anymore. In 2015, Leon Clark was having a whale of a time banging in 15 goals in an average League One side called Bury. However, I bet Bury would take League One mid-table mediocrity over where they are now. Such a shame. However, Leon went from strength to strength after leaving Bury with the Blades. Richario Zivkovic, Ajax and young Ajax. Richie seems like a forgotten man in Dutch football after flying out of the blocks at young Ajax. And everyone thought it was going to be the next big thing. A wonder kid, you might say. And that's where he was playing 5 years ago when he was 18 at young Ajax. He didn't get much of a chance in the first team and had many disappointing loan and permanent moves since. Ollie McBurney, Swansea City on loan at Newport Town. In 2015, Sheffield United's number 9 was 18 years of age and on loan at Newport County, scoring 3 goals in 3 games. Swansea brought him back just to send him back out on loan to Bristol Rovers later on that season. When he was ready for action in 2018, McBurney banged in 22 goals for the Swans, which earned him a £20 million move to the Premier League with the Blades. Lys Mousset, Le Havre. Lys was also 18 in 2015 and had just graduated from the Le Havre second team to the first. He also scored lots of goals, 14 in 28 games, which earned him a move to the Premier League with Bournemouth. However, that didn't go to plan, and obviously he's with the Blades right now. David McGoldrick, Ipswich Town. A 28-year-old Didsey was always the first name on the team sheet. Well, when he was fit at least. And he did struggle for injuries for most of his Ipswich career, which was no different in the 2015-16 season. He only managed 24 appearances, scoring 7 goals in all competitions. Callum Robinson, Aston Villa on loan at Preston. Callum started his career at Premier League Aston Villa, but was deemed not good enough, and he only managed 4 appearances between 2013 and 2016. In the 2015-16 season, a 19-year-old Robbo went on loan to Bristol City but failed to score a single goal in 6 games. He then went back to Villa after falling out of favour at Ashton Gate. He then went on loan to Preston North End and showed enough quality to be signed on a permanent deal. Billy Sharp, Leeds United and Sheffield United. Billy's career seemed to be going in a downwards trajectory in between 2012 and 2015, after a few uninspiring loan spells, whilst on loan from Premier League side Southampton. He only spent 1 season with Leeds United before being snapped up by the Blades in 2015. He went on to score 21 goals and helped Sheffield United win promotion from League One to the Championship with 100 points. Chris Wilder, Northampton Town. And finally, the man who steered the Blades to 2 promotions in 3 seasons, Chris Wilder. In the 2015-2016 season, Chris Wilder was 47 years old and led Northampton Town to the League 2 title, achieving 99 points over a 46-game season. However, he wasn't given much time to celebrate, as he was soon snapped up by League One Sheffield United, and the rest is history. And that is all. Now, if you're still here, then thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and stay in good nick.